Well, this marks the end of Beyond the Boundary, or Kyoukai no Kanata, for this season of anime. This anime, all in all, I want to take a look back at what I truly thought about this series, and just, different things and moments that I could say that Kyo-on could have done better. For one, this ending, it was to be expected. I knew the ending wasn't going to be very conclusive and answer a lot of questions. Going into this episode, I knew the ending was just going to leave on a cliffhanger with a lot of different things that are making you like, what the hell is going on? So, I'm going to look past that part real quick before I get into the discussion of that. Now, looking at this anime Beyond the Boundary, I have to say, the animation quality is really beautiful. But, I mean, we've come to expect that from Kyo-on. They know how to make great animation with some nice, good moe blob characters. And that is what I look forward to in their anime. So, right there, that is fine. The animation is just great quality. The characters are good, they're all likable in a certain sense, but it would be hard for different type of fans to Kyo-on that watch the series for the first time to probably get emotionally attached to the characters. I get really attached to characters quickly, so it is fine to, I guess, for me to get attached to them, but other people that are getting new into this series and just haven't watched a lot of anime are probably be like, holy crap, this is a terrible show, because the characters would take a lot to get used to. And that's one thing that this actual series tends to actually really fail at, making you feel emotionally attached to the characters. And the one reason what actually explains this entire situation why I would say it would be hard to get attached is because they constantly either, let's take Akihito for instance. In I think episode 10 or 9, Akihito died. Akihito's alive again. Akihito died. Oh, he's back alive again. And then they do the same thing with Mirai. She's dead. She's alive. Her existence is not dead. So and so. Basically what I'm getting at is when you see characters constantly dying, coming back, and the plot is so inconsistent, playing with your feels, you get numb to it. And that's one thing that kind of upsets me about this series. On the whole, though, this anime, I would have to say, is very average. It's not groundbreaking in the anime industry, and it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. And really, I have to say, this anime has been a fun ride. I have enjoyed it week to week. I really have a lot of positive feels towards this series. So, there's nothing wrong there. It just, the way they leave so many things completely open on the table, it makes you want more. That's what it really makes you want to do. Because, I mean, I know there's going to be an OVA series coming out, and the way they made this entire episode built up to, it basically slapped us in the face and say, oh, there's a season 2 coming out. How very unpleasant. This episode, let's talk about the actual final episode of Kyoukai no Kanata. Okay, this episode was great. It had beautiful animation and just great fighting scenes that were awe-inspiring. I mean, I love the entire Yomu pack fighting Akihito and Mirai. That was just really well done animation. You gotta love Kyo-on with their animation, the way they managed to animate fights. That is something I want to see Kyo-on take more into their anime. Because as we can see from this freaking, I guess, test anime for Kyo-on, they really need to start getting into more action anime. Because as we all can see, the production values of this anime are insane. But almost every Kyo-on project is always insane. Hopefully, Kyo-on takes a little bit of learning initiative from this actual series and tries to implement it into other series they want to make. Because I noticed they did this entire anime as, I guess, a beta test run, which is fine by me. It is, as long as that they could take actual production values of the animation, but improve the characters with a really good conclusive plot. I would say they would have a lot of potential for being one of the top-selling anime of next year if they decide to do something like that. Now, one other thing I want to get into. The actual freaking ending. Okay, the ending of Kyoukai no Kanata, in my actual sense, I would say the ending was very lacking. I mean, when I saw Mirai basically disappearing, you saw her crack, at first I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, she's dying. And you just see her, leg just shattered and all that. And that was actually very emotional. I did get emotional to that scene. But, knowing Kyo-on, I knew for a fact that they were going to bring her back or somewhat other kind of bullcrap. So, I expected her to come back. So really, that kind of killed the entire emotions in my actual, what I felt for this series in that entire time. So I was like, okay, she's going to come back. Why am I going to feel sorry for this? So basically, it kind of destroyed the entire middle section of the feels, even if you actually got emotionally built up in that section. Let's just say you did, okay? Let's take your fact you were in tears. You're like, oh my god! Which is understandable. I've cried to anime too. But, I mean, if you were to get upset in that scene, and then literally 4 minutes later, Mirai's magically miracle back from the freaking life, I mean, what kind of freaking emotions do you have now? You would be probably extremely pissed, or you'll be happy, but still you'd be pissed at the same time, because For one thing, they don't explain how the freaking hell did Mirai even come back. I actually had to look up online and look at the novels to actually see how Mirai came back. You want to know how she came back? You really want to know how she came back? I want to let you all know. If you don't want to be spoiled, then oh well, but, I mean, here it goes. I'll warn you. Okay, so Akihito basically learns how to control his beyond the boundary Yomu inside of his body. That was the entire goal of what was going on in this entire arc. I mean, they didn't really manage to explain that well in this last part of the chapter, but that was the entire goal. Akihito finally has full control beyond the boundary, and that is what he used to be able to bring back Mirai unconsciously. He didn't really try to bring her back. He was just thinking about it hard enough and she appeared. Now, right there I have to say, it seems a little bit of a half-assed way they brought her back. It does. But at the same time, it would have been a lot better if Kyoan would have taken the time to at least add one freaking line to say that he was using his powers to bring back Mirai. It would have made the ending a lot more emotional and better. But I have to say, I do like the monologue with Akihito, the way he was actually willing to accept life without Mirai. That was actually a really good scene. They managed to do well. If they would have cliffhangered the anime right there, I would have had a lot more better feels to the series, because they would have actually had a nice, good, dark cliffhanger for the series. And then when we come back to Season 2, we could see Mirai coming back and better explained. Now, don't you all think that would have been a better conclusive ending for Beyond the Boundary if it was to end right there? I know I would. But, I mean, there's a lot of people that will probably be against that. You would want to see Mirai come back before the series ends instead of leaving us with a cliffhanger like that. But if they were going to rush the ending like that, they should have at least saved it for Season 2 for they could have explained it a lot better. And that would have been a lot better for a lot of the audience. So that's a huge disappointment. The ending really disappointed me in the series because there's a lot of unanswered questions. Like, for instance, we got Izumi. Okay, we find out this episode that she's like half Yomu. Okay, well, I thought Akihito was only half Yomu. Or, yeah, Izumi actually has like a demon that's inside of her, like she's controlling or whatever. See, they really didn't explain that really well. And the glasses dude that was fighting freaking Izumi and trying to get beyond the boundary to kill the entire world for some reason, he also had a half Yomu inside of him. So, there's a lot of questions, like unanswered questions right there if you think about that in a logical sense. I mean, who is this dude that Hiromi and the Naze family is actually talking to in this, like, nice, beautiful animated cave? And then you got the entire section is who is Akihito's father? How the hell is Akihito's mother, like, so freaking strange and weird and looks like she's strong? Okay, she got stabbed by Izumi this freaking episode and returned around and, like, spawned outside the window like she was all okay and fine. It looked like she was a ninja or something, but I don't know. See, there's so many questions left open, so many plot holes that leaves you wanting more. Hopefully the OVA series of the freaking Kyoukai no Kanata actually explains a little bit more of this. But knowing since the OVA is going to be coming out around Christmas, I'm just going to say it's going to be a Christmas special. Knowing Kyoan, they'll put their animation out for just a holiday season type episode. But if they do, for some off chance, release an OVA episode that is actually going to be crucial to the plot, I will gladly welcome it, and I would reevaluate this entire review what I thought about this episode and the series in a whole. Tell me what you think about this series. I know I've ranted on this series a little bit. I know it's kind of upsetting for a lot of the viewers, because I know a lot of people will say this anime is really good. And honestly, it is a good anime. It is. I would recommend people to watch this series. But it's not an anime I would just recommend to everyone. It is not. If you're a big fan of Kyoan, I would say yes, I'd recommend it. But if it's a series that you want to actually have a really engaging plot and something that really explains really well, then I wouldn't probably recommend this. Well, everybody, this is going to be the end of my anime review, my final anime review of Kyoukai no Kanata. If you want to see any more anime reviews on any other anime or manga, please leave me a comment below in this video. Y'all wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.